Most outlets or individuals can simply assign preseason awards to the players they think are best, but us, we have to fight for it. On today's episode of College Baseball Now, we're drafting our 2026 NCAA preseason awards. Let's do it.
Yeah, ain't no problems, that won't problem with me, Yeah.
Let me talk to the chat. They know I was gone for a minute, had to BRB. Had to grab a couple wins, what I DID. They sleeping on the kid, I had to do it BIG. I can never be average, and they want a problem with the boy, they don't want no static. I don't need your cosign running with God. Wanna test that, tell them what's happening. Took control, run the game. Best believe I'm shining dog. Counting in my wins, yeah, I love it when they count me out. Off the leash, of the chain, why I been a dog. Best believe I run the game, you know I'm in control of y'all. It's like magic, believe I want that static. Yeah, it's like magic, believe I want that static. Yeah, it's like magic, believe I want that static. Beat them up, knock them out. They really don't want no static.
College Baseball Now is back. Prospects Live's very own podcast looking at college baseball, telling the stories of the game and the people that make it special in authentic and intelligent ways is back with you. Starting, of course, with me, your host, your friend, your boy, the director of amateur scouting at Prospects Live, Drew Wheeler. Happy to be here with you. Happy to be here with my friends to have a little bit more of an intense episode, fellas. It's gonna be a fight. I fear that it's going to be a fight because today we are drafting our 2026 preseason awards. As you may know at home, other outlets, they're going to give some cut and dry lists of their preseason awards for the 2026 NCAA baseball season. No shame to them whatsoever. Chances are they have great lists in terms of who's going to win the award for SEC Pitcher of the Year, Big 12 Player of the Year. But we're built differently at Prospects Live, and maybe that's not necessarily a good thing, but it is going to be an interesting thing. So the concept of today's episode is no host can pick a player that's already been taken, and yet you've still got to fill out all 10 categories in the draft. Whose group of honorees is going to be the best? I guess you're about to find out. So again, we're going to start with introducing you to your hosting team. We're going to go to the gentleman on my right, Mr. JB Sebastiano. JB, when you think of a fighter, this could be a boxer, it could be a professional wrestler, it could be a sumo wrestler, it could be somebody you know personally. When you think of a fighter, who do you think of?
I'm going to have to go with Muhammad Ali. You always hear all the sayings and everything about Muhammad Ali, and last year I did get to go to Louisville and we passed by the Muhammad Ali museum and everything they got going on there. So I definitely say Muhammad Ali. That's been the cultural fighter I've known.
There you go. In the bottom right corner, holding down that corner well, it's Mr. Josh Catlett. Joshua, it's good to see you, sir. Curious, the same question. When you think of a fighter, who is it that comes to mind for you, sir?
I don't know my answer for this one. I would think I'm not trying to go the boxing route, so I'll just say Conor McGregor because that's been the big fighter my entire life growing up because UFC is way bigger now than boxing has always been. And he's just got such a big personality and was so good when I was in middle school, high school. Everyone loves him. Maybe I'll try to embody my draft style after him today. Me and JB are bickering almost every single day of the week. So maybe I'll maybe a little bit of that Conor McGregor loves to do with his opponents. We'll see.
He really does. Maybe a little bit of Shale Sonnen in the mix with you. Just you can get a little yappy, but I like that about you, Josh. I like that about you, buddy. We'll see if that plays in. Maybe if JB is trying to take the honorable Ali route, Josh comes in with a little bit of McGregor hitting his strides.
Me and Josh always steal my players, so it's going to be a fight. It's going to happen at some point today.
It might not be in the areas you think today. We'll see. I'm gonna keep
it might not. Right? We did have to put a certain Drew-shaped roadblock between the two of you, so it can't be direct sniping, but I think there will be some jabbering going on. And finally, the bottom left-hand corner, holding this down, it is big, sexy Jake Bargery. Jake, when you think of a fighter, who comes to mind for you?
Yeah, I'm admittedly not a big boxing and UFC guy, but when I was younger, I was a big WWE fan. And my favorite wrestler was Rey Mysterio. He was
awesome.
He was so much fun to watch, and like Josh said, maybe modeling his draft after Conor McGregor. I mean, Rey Mysterio, he kind of runs circles around you. He'll wear you down, and maybe I'll try to do that a little bit today. I don't know.
I love it. I think that's so interesting that you're going to maybe some lucha libre. Maybe you're flying high. Maybe you're hitting the big spots, coming in clutch, and like you said, running circles around everybody. Guys, I do really like fight sports. I think it's maybe the worst kept secret at Prospects Live that I used to be a professional wrestler. I will not be taking questions at this time. But yeah, I'll go with maybe a wrestler as well and say that I'm hoping today to be John Cena. I'm hoping that I can be the greatest of all time to some, and I'm hoping at the end of this draft you won't be able to see my graphic at all. How about that?
He also just retired, and people didn't like the way he went out. So, hey, if that's the case, that's good for the rest of us.
That's also true, and I will also say that me taking a guy that just retired is perfectly indicative of my unk status. Never beating the allegations, literally ever. So in the time since we've recorded, though, guys, we have seen something that's flared up a lot on social media. Top 25s. Lots of outlets are putting out not only their awards, but their top 25s. We did that as well. You guys will remember one of the first episodes we recorded of College Baseball Now was our way too early top 25 for 2026. And so whenever the season came about, we did update that a little bit earlier this month. We have gone from way too early to preseason, and we're going to talk about that just a little bit. Each of you has chosen a team that rose in the ranks and then a team that's fallen in the ranks. I'm going to ask you to give me just a sentence or two about, in your opinion, why that team might have risen and or fallen. And JB, we're going to start with you. Tell me about a team that has risen in the ranks and why you think that is.
Yeah, so I had North Carolina, obviously being someone that's seen a lot of them. I think North Carolina, honestly, it's just been a lot of people seeing the new transfers and seeing they've really adjusted really well to the new program and the pitching staff that's pretty much the entire same staff you saw last season besides Jake Knapp and how it's a really good staff once again with a lot of new freshman talent as well built into it. So I think everybody's seen that North Carolina is going to be A-okay and the offense is there, so they'll compete like usual.
Definitely. I know that we have heard on the show a lot about the transfers for North Carolina, but maybe it's not all just you being a bit of a homer in that regard, because there's some real talent waiting to play at UNC. I like that pick, and certainly I had them rose in my own rankings as well. Josh, we're going to go to you. Another team that has risen in our rankings from October to this month.
Yeah, not only have they risen, but Oklahoma State was not in our rankings at all in October, and now they're number 21. I actually had someone text me the other day seeing our rankings and was like, why so high in Oklahoma State? Because to my knowledge, from everything I've seen, we're the only outlet that has them ranked. And my short and sweet kind of answer is I think that lineup is so experienced, and I think they're going to mash, and that's going to be able to take them through a good part of the Big 12 schedule at least. I think, my hot take involving this team, and one of my hot takes in general, is I think Oklahoma State has a top 3 to 4 outfield in the entire country. They're bigger name teams, probably going to get more of the publicity for that, but with Alex Conover, Colin Ritchie, Garrett Scholl, I think that's such a good trio out there. And pitching, the rotation scares me a little bit. There's some experience, but there's also some guys that are just talented, and Ethan Lund, who's probably going to be their Saturday guy. I think that's going to be able to carry them enough, but the bullpen is super good. I'm a little biased because probably they're 2 of their 3 most high leverage arms this year are guys that I worked with this summer in the Northwoods League and Fond du Lac and Noah Weck and Stormy Rhodes. I think they're going to – I saw improvement from them this summer. I think they're going to be able to take it into the season, and that pitching staff is going to do enough to carry their end of the – their end of the weight or their end of the bargain. What am I saying? To try and keep up with the offense that I think is going to be able to carry them through the majority of that schedule.
I think so too, man. And really, you hit it with the offense that's going to be a carrying thing. The outfield, such an underrated 3 guys out there in the outfield. 3 dudes. I mean, that's a great way to say it. It's 3 dudes out there. We're not talking just everyday chumps. This is not just your casual ham and eggers. These are legitimate dudes out there in the outfield for Oklahoma State. Troubling team, and maybe we're going to look really smart in a couple weeks when OK State comes out and looks a little bit more than okay. Trust me, I would know. Jake, we're going to go to you. Tell me again, buddy, about a team that has risen from our October ranks to the January one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the national runner-ups in Coastal Carolina. I feel like a lot of people were probably shocked to see that they weren't in our initial top 25, but they do make the cut this time. And as much pitching as Coastal lost. Not, I mean, and I say pitching. I think Caden Bodine was also a big part of that pitching staff. Believe it or not, the way he called games and could just command that pitching staff last year. With him being gone, Morrison being gone, Riley Eichhoff being gone, they lost a lot of pitching. But I still think that that the pitching is going to be the biggest strength of this Coastal team. Their ace, Cam Fluke's a guy we're going to certainly hear his name called a little bit later in the episode. But, they have other guys, Hayden Johnson, Luke Jones. They brought in a good transfer, Ross Norman from Georgia State. I think it's not typical for these top-end mid-major programs to have pitching be the strength and the lineup kind of be like where the bigger questions are, but I think the staff is going to really carry Coastal a long way again this year.
I think it absolutely will as well. Coastal is a team that, like you said, certainly felt odd not having them in the first version of our 25, but certainly we've rectified that in January. Jake, I do want to stick with you here, man, to talk about a team that has fallen in our rankings from October to today. Maybe something's come up. Maybe we've all kind of put our heads together or gotten some new information, or maybe the vibes are off. I'm curious about the team that has fallen that you've talked about, and tell me why that is.
I'm going to take Virginia. They were in our top 10. They were at number 10 the first time. They fell down to 14. Not a massive fall, but I think that we have come down to earth a little bit on them. I still personally really love the lineup. I mean, it's just loaded from top to bottom. I talked about Joe Tiroli last time. He's a big transfer coming in from Ryder, but I mean, they got the name values and with Eric Becker, AJ Gracia, Harrison Didowick's coming back. Noah Murray coming over from Duke with Gracia. It's just a star-studded lineup, and there's no doubt that they're going to hit. And kind of the opposite of my point I was making with Coastal, I think there are some question marks with the pitching staff and who's going to kind of take over as the top one or two guys there. So I think that could be a reason why we kind of brought them back down a little bit, but I still don't have any doubts that Virginia is going to be very good again.
I think it's almost a little bit of maybe us hedging our bets, if that's a good word for it, potentially. I agree with you, though, Jake, and that's certainly something to watch for. Josh, we'll go to you. Another team that has fallen, if I'm reading these notes right, I'm pretty sure a certain team might be a big fan of yours. Maybe their fan base is ingratiated with you after this pick and the previous one.
Yeah, I'm just pandering to Oklahoma State fans at this point because I'll talk about Oklahoma. They dropped out of our rankings completely. They dropped out of my personal ones, too. I'll keep this answer shorter. I think that the lineup is going to be a lot of like the sum of their parts. They don't really have a standout guy to carry them. And it's a bunch of like high floor level guys. And I think if you're going to really compete in the SEC, I think you're going to need more of the star power kind of guys that can really pop off with higher ceilings. Also, the pitching staff scares me a little bit because even though it's a lot of returnees from last year, it's guys that punched out a ton, sure, but they allowed a lot of hits. And I think that's kind of going to regress back to worse results than they got last year. And I think, like, unless those guys have made significant improvements in terms of allowing better ball quality, that kind of stuff, I think it might not pan out in the same way that we think it's going to, and some outlets think it's going to, although I haven't seen them ranked in many other places either besides, like, one.
Well, that's interesting. And certainly we're not, none of us are saying that our rankings are the best. We're just giving you our thoughts, certainly, and comparing them to what the grand scheme of baseball media seems to think as well. But I'm with you, Josh. I think that Oklahoma's in kind of an interesting position where they did lose quite a bit of their upper echelon talent, and now how is what they retain and what they've brought in going to supplement those gaps? It's going to be interesting to see, especially
Don't get it twisted. Our rankings are the best. I just want to throw it out there. I think that's pretty obvious. You heard it here first.
I didn't want to say that, but Josh, I'll definitely I'll
go on record. I don't care.
I'll put a second to what you said there. JB, we'll let you bring us home on the fallers, and you're going to talk about another ACC team. I'm curious why this team has fallen 4 spots.
Yeah, so I'm going to get into Georgia Tech, but to say 1 point on Josh's team as well with Oklahoma, they played here in our regional. And Easton Carmichael was a huge part of that team. And them losing Carmichael, like Josh said, like that is the star that they needed to really roll through. And he carried them through the regional. So him being gone I think it really hurts them. But So hop off of that and get onto Georgia Tech now. That's who I took. Georgia Tech, I think with the coaching change, it's going to be difficult. You had a lot of experience there for a long time, and now you're going to Ramsey. Ramsey's kind of he's a kind of inconsistent coach. He's a guy I guess kind of temperamental at times. We've seen in the past an assistant, so it'll be interesting to see him move up to being a head guy. They play a cushier schedule once again, I'll say, especially out of conference. In conference as well, they have a hard stretch in there, but they'll get some easier breaks to get going. So like last year, a lot of people didn't think highly of them going in after winning a lot of games in the regular season just because they had a cushier ACC schedule. And when they made it to the regionals, they kind of just sputtered out. And the pitching was a problem. And again, this year, there hasn't been much really that shows otherwise. They got some big stuff, but really not a lot of performance to go off of that. So the offense is going to have to carry them. And that's really why a lot of people love Georgia Tech, the big names. But you realize that nobody's talking about the pitching staff for a reason. So I think they have to prove the pitching staff is good enough to get them through in order to prove why they should be a top 10 team.
What do you see as being the likelihood that they could do that?
I think that they have some of the talent and pieces to do it. I just think we haven't seen Georgia Tech put together a pitching staff of high quality in a few years now. I think they've just really lacked high quality pitching staff for years, and there's been offensive pieces there for a bit, but I think the pitching's kind of been holding him back. And it's always been a lot of high scoring games with them. They go into, if I'm not mistaken, the Ole Miss regional last year, and they kind of just sputtered out. So I just think for them, it's going to be interesting. I think they're a playoff team for sure, no doubt, but I think how far they make it is really a big question.
Interesting. Well said. And guys, if you're interested in maybe seeing our full list, it is available on the Twitter machine. You can also go to the website and check it out. We have a free article about that that was written by the four of us, the 2026 College Baseball Preseason Top 25. We've gotten a lot of great response and a lot of views on that article, and I wanted to say thank you if you have taken time to check that out. It was a fun labor of love, and guys, you worked really hard on it, and I appreciate your hard work on that. It's a fun 25, and since Josh popped the cork on it, I'll just go ahead and say I think it might be the best one in the country, and maybe not getting all the attention. So in 3 months, when we look really smart and have good teams there, and your favorite outlet doesn't, don't say we didn't warn you. Was that too harsh?
No, it's valid. We talked about it earlier. I think that no one goes back and looks at preseason rankings at the end of the year. If ours are right, we will gladly bring an episode in May and June being like, hey, when we had A&M at 10 and everyone else had them low or unranked, just know.
We will we will do an audit on those rankings. Let's call it we'll put it down, mid-season audit. Speaking of things that are happening now and hopefully in the season beyond, we had a great question in the comments from a YouTube user, Idrial Calathier. I want to say thank you so much for the well thought out question about Wake and their pitching lab. I know, JB, you said that you addressed Calathier's question there. Appreciate you doing that. Obviously, that's something we love. We want to build the community of talking about college baseball with you. So if you have questions, have comments, drop them in the comments below on YouTube. Send us a message on the Twitter machine. Comment on the Prospects Live website. We want to get in touch with you. So do it. You've got to play your part and get in touch with us too, though. Guys, it is time for the meat of the episode. I'm getting a little excited. I'm getting a little getting the kind of chuckles I'm feeling like. I'm pretty hyped for this draft. It's going to be a fun and challenging time. As we're getting it loaded up, Josh, this was kind of your baby. Do you care to explain it to the people at home? Just give them a recap of what I led in at the start of the episode.
Sure. So the premise is we have 10 different categories, player and pitcher of the year, for the 4 main power conferences and mid-majors. So SEC Pitcher of the Year, SEC Player of the Year, so on and so forth. Each of us will be able to draft whichever one of those categories at any given time that we want. So say, for example, someone can draft their SEC Player of the Year at the 1-1 pick. Someone can take the Big Ten Pitcher of the Year at the 1-2, whatever. But you have to fill out all 10 categories by the end. So it kind of incorporates some draft strategy. What do you think everyone else is going to do? Who do you think has a higher leg up on the rest of that field compared to the rest? Who's a safe bet just to win that? Like that kind of stuff. And it could get fun at the end because we're probably going to get some – at the top you can probably expect the names that I'm going to assume are going to go. But when we're at pick number 37 and someone has the last, Big Ten Pitcher of the Year on their board left, who knows what kind of name they're going to pull. So, I don't know. Should be fun.
I know in football the term garbage time is used almost lovingly. We're going to get some garbage time picks. Now, that's not to disparage the picks that we have because, guys, these are good players. The Big Ten Pitcher of the Year is the best in his conference. The mid-major Player of the Year is the best of theoretically 20 conferences. It's outstanding players we're talking about. I don't think we're going to see a bad player drafted. And yet, I think we're going to see some guff given nonetheless. I think we're going to have some maybe not so polite brotherly ribbing here, and I'm living for it. I can't wait to see where we go with this. And with that, earlier today we had a very intense, very scientific process to determine our draft selection order, and that has left us with Mr. Jake Bargery with the number 1 overall pick in our preseason awards draft. Jake, I think just on behalf of the field not being yourself, go easy on us, and we'll see what happens here as you prepare to make your number 1 pick.
I am gonna take the obvious 1-1 here. I'm gonna go Rock Chalowski. We're gonna get him out of the way early. Big Ten's not the deepest conference in really pitchers or hitters, so I'm going to take the best player in the country. He looks like a professional player playing college baseball. I mean, right now the 1-1 is his to lose. He's a little aggressive in the box, but he can hold his own with his exceptional bat to ball skills. He hits for power. He's one of the best overall defensive players in the class, not just at shortstop. Legit arm. He just brings value with every aspect of his game. And looking ahead a little bit, he's going to enter pro ball as one of the top prospects in baseball day 1. He's going to have a huge year for UCLA, so that's why I'm going to take him first in the draft.
Well, that is gonna, I can't say I didn't see that one coming. Josh, that is going to bring us to you. I'm curious, was that what you that was what you expected 1-1, Josh, right?
For sure. I mean, like I said this earlier, I think there's a clear 1-1, and then I have the 1-2, and I think, in my opinion, I think there's kind of a clear 1-2. I don't know if y'all align on this, but regardless, I'm gonna take my mid-major pitcher of the year and go with Cam Flukie. There's only one other guy that could maybe take this title at the end of the year, but I think that's probably unlikely, if we're being honest. I mean, I've said it over and over, so I'll say it again. This guy's going to be the best Friday night guy in the country. And Texas and I think East Carolina are the only decent teams he's going to have to face the entire regular season too. So the odds he finishes the year with something like a sub-2 ERA is borderline more than likely, I'd say. So I think this is an easy pick. I feel pretty comfortable actually getting this one in the slot.
Surprising no Logan Hughes there. I thought when he said obvious pick, it was going to be Logan Hughes immediately.
I'm very curious to see how he goes. I'm very curious to see how he goes in this draft, because I'm not going to reach for him, but I just want the ball's in y'all's court. I'll say that much.
I'm torn here. I really wanted Flukie at 3, but I should have known. All right. With my pick 1-3, I think I am going to try to play smart here. Going to play smart. This is not flashy. This is strategic. The Big Ten pitching pool is very thin.
I knew that's where you were going with
this player gives you stability. I'm going to UCLA. I want Logan Redeman as my Big Ten pitcher of the year. He's a reliable guy. I would say their Friday guy without a doubt. And I mean, I'm open to scrutiny there. Command, I think that he's going to benefit from UCLA's track record of making pitchers amplified versions of themselves. And again, in a pool that I would define as being a bit thinner, I want to strike quick and strike first. And while there are players on the board up and down that I'm more excited about, I think this is going to have to be a let's play for the graphic. And I'm ready to play. JB, we're going to go to you for 1-4, sir. What are you thinking?
Yeah, well, I like where you went with that, Drew. Piggybacking off of that, I'm going to go kind of a smart man pick here, and I'm going to go the Big Ten Player of the Year, and I'm going to take Maddox Maloney. That's going to be my pick there from Oregon, shortstop. Maloney, we've had a lot of discussions about him. A lot of us have debated, but in the Big Ten, I think Maloney's right there, especially with Chalowski, is the second best draft prospect in that conference. He's plus defend. He's got enough bat there that a lot of teams are going to love him. He's got the power projection, the frame, everything you could want, athleticism. So I'm going to go Maddox Maloney there. And if I'm not mistaken, I do get the snake around pick as well. So with my snake around pick, I am going to go to another spot, and I am going to take the Big 12 pitcher of the year, and I'm going to take Owen Kramkowski as my second pick there from U of A. I think Kramkowski, he's going to break out. I know some people are really big on him. We're kind of in the middle. I think he's got a lot of outlier stuff there, and the Big 12 is very offensively driven conference for sure. I think that he's one of the better names out there on the pitching side, and I think somebody's going to love him in the draft, possibly in the first round. So I'm going to go Kramkowski.
Yes, indeed. I like that pick a lot, and I like that you're fully. Ah, man, this draft is going to piss me off. This draft is gonna piss me off really bad.
The Maloney pick is like really strategic. I did not expect anyone to. That's like full frontal. That's where I was going to go with my next pick. I didn't think anyone would snag that next because
Josh was waiting for my outlandish pick inbound. He thought I was just going to go off the walls again.
I will say
draft, and there
the Kramkowski thing was the most predictable pick from you maybe of all time. I have him last on my Big 12 pitchers board because I knew I wasn't going to get him at any point. I had to have him there.
All right. Okay. I'm starting to. Okay. I think here. Oh. Okay. Good. I'm going to stick to my plan. We're going to get risky. All right. I agree with the sentiment that Josh said earlier when he referenced that Cam Fluke is the choice for mid-major pitcher of the year. I mean that. But I do think that the next best choice is one that's going to look so good on my graphic. It's one that I feel if it wasn't going to be Fluky, it's going to be this guy. It's going to be Jackson Flora, the right-hander from UC Santa Barbara. It's proven West Coast arm that strikes dudes out. He's got ability. He's consistent. He's respected on the national scale. This is about me not getting boxed out, boys. This is about me picking a guy where I feel good putting him on the graphic. Flora's done it against good competition, and he holds draft stock and draft weight. And I feel like Big Drew is already in the I'm already in the kitchen cooking you boys. I feel so good about this draft right now. Josh, I'm going to throw it to you, man. What do you got?
I mean, that's a run on your parade, but I'm going to be real. When I said with my Fluky pick, I think there's one other guy that could go as the mid-major pitcher of the year that could win it. Was not Flora. He's still out there. He's still out there somewhere. So we'll see. We'll see who snags him.
All right.
This is a risky pick because I did not want to go to this category this early. But I want to feel safe with this one because it's probably the flashiest category with the most options, I would say. I'm going to go ahead and take my SEC Player of the Year. I'm going to take Derek Curiel from LSU. Now, after seeing what he did as a freshman, it's hard to imagine that he wouldn't improve upon that as a sophomore. I mean, he batted .345 with 55 RBI and a .990 OPS as a freshman. Let me repeat that for the third time. As a freshman, that's nuts. I mean, he's also moving from left field to center, and there's been plenty of noise from the fall about how his power has taken a step up too. So if he played that way in his first year of college ball in the SEC, then I'd find it hard to believe that he won't be putting up nearly the best numbers in the conference for the second year in a row.
I thought it was going to be Hakopian.
I would have bet the farm. I'd have bet the farm.
He's something not a Curiel truther in the draft boards, but I'm not. Here's why. Nowhere right there.
There's going to be a pick. There's going to be a pick later on that I might make that's going to be along these same lines. I have to remind myself, this is not like a future how I feel about the player draft. It's like college production for the 2026 season, and that's what I have to keep in mind. And I think Curiel, there's a good shot he's better at that than Hakopian is, but that's just my opinion. Hakopian's number 2 on my board, though, for that category.
Okay. Okay.
Well, I'm with JB. I would have bet the farm it was going to be Hakopian when it came to that. But alas, we cannot dilly-dally and we can't stay on you all this time. Jake, we're going to you for 2 in a row. And I do just want to point out, Jake, we've let you slide for taking Rock here. I think we need to be giving you more guff for maybe making the boring pick. This is all baloney. But that was the obvious pick. I'm just trying to find anything to nitpick at you for because I'm jealous. Jake, you got 2 picks. Go ahead and make the first one.
I do have 2 picks, and I don't think there was anybody else other than Rock to go there. I tried to think of something that could make it a little bit more fun, but I couldn't let him not come to my team and go to one of you guys if I had the first pick. But I am going to go with my SEC pitcher this time with Liam Peterson from Florida. He's arguably the best, arm in the draft, depending on how you feel about Cam Flukie and Jackson Flora. There's an argument to be made for Liam Peterson for sure. Fastball up to 99. He's got a plus slider, maybe plus changeup, and a curveball that some have said we're going to see a lot of this year. I think he's been working on it quite a bit in the fall. I do want to see him throw more strikes overall, but the stuff is just undeniable, and he's going to be the headliner of this Florida rotation that is loaded from top to bottom.
I think so. I like that pick a lot. I am bubbling inside with rage. So I'll ask, politely that you make your 3rd round selection before this rage explodes.
I'm going to go. We talked about how thin the Big Ten pitcher market is right now for us. So I'm going to take you got my favorite one in Redeman. I'm going to take my second favorite one, also on the UCLA staff with Michael Barnett. It's a lot of experience from Barnett. He's got a legit 4-pitch mix, fastball up to 92. Not going to blow you really away with that, but the secondaries are legit. Slider, curveball, changeup. He can throw them all for strikes. He can go deep into games. He does a good job at just throwing strikes and working out of trouble if guys do get on base. He's really.
So just to round out what you said
before I cut off, I need to start over with him.
So now we decided that I get Rock Chalowski now, right? And JB gets Michael Barnett, and Drew gets Liam Peterson.
How do I get Michael Barnett? Of course, Josh is going to screw me over again. Of course, that's who I get out of 3. He's not even on my board, and that's the guy that I get. Of course, Josh would do that.
Well, Josh, so Jake, we did get the majority of your point about Barnett. How you feel like he's going to be solid for UCLA, and how you think that's. I mean, guys, was there a thinner market than Big Ten pitcher? Let's just go ahead and address that.
No, not at all.
Nope. So I think, Jake, it's smart of you to go ahead and secure that there. Josh, we'll go to you for pick 3-2. What do you got?
I'm going to be so honest. I don't know how this guy has fallen to me this far. I don't know how we haven't taken any of the top, what I'd say, 2 guys in this category. I'm going to take my ACC Player of the Year, and I'm going to take Drew Burress off the board. I mean, this seems like the undisputed best guy in the ACC to me, so it's an easy pick here. I mean, Burress has had just a ridiculous college career from a results standpoint. He had a 1162 OPS last year with 19 bombs and a 1333 OPS his freshman year with 25 bombs. And all this pop is coming from a little 5'9" guy too. So I feel like people have talked plenty about Burress, and Tech fans absolutely love him for a reason. I mean, he genuinely has the opportunity to be an all-time college baseball great if he puts up numbers like that for the 3rd season in a row.
I think there's a pretty good likelihood he'll do it as well, right?
I'd say so. It's one of those situations where it's another loaded category, so that's probably why no one's taken anything. Same with the SEC, which I already took one, but I don't know. Drew Burress, I think it was D1 had their quarter century teams or whatever that were posted earlier, a couple months ago, and they had Drew Burress on there, and he's active, and he's only still played 2 seasons, which I'm not going to be the one to tell you whether that's accurate or not, but the fact that it's even in consideration just goes to show
it emphasizes that he's among the greats of the last 25 years.
Right, exactly.
So I think that's a valid pick. Guys, 3-3 coming up for Drew. And again, I said it a minute ago, I felt like I was cooking. But You guys have really dinged the board up over this last elbow. So I think I need to look. I'm gonna stick to my. I'm sticking to the plan. I'm sticking to the plan here. I'm aiming for the graphic at the end of this dance. We're gonna go to Big 12 pitcher. This is, in my opinion. I'm going to say this is one of the few Big 12 arms that's a true separator in this category. And I didn't want to be forced to chase later when I could have the name I want here. We're going to go Tommy Laporte, right-hander, TCU. It's a power arm. Pro starter traits there. High strikeout upside. He's got some funk. It's a competitive conference, but I think that there's like I said, enough separation for Laporte that he can be truly dominant and really make a name for himself in the 2026 class. I'm thrilled to get him as my Big 12 pitcher of the year. And that's going to bring us to JB for the final pick of round 3. What are you thinking here, Jabes?
Yeah, well, we've kind of bounced around the board a bit, and I guess now I'm kind of looking at my board, and I have a few names that I could toss around. So I'm going to go with the first one. I'm going to go with my SEC Player of the Year, and I'm going to take Ace Reese. Ace Reese last year, he went nuclear, if we're being honest, at Mississippi State, over 1,100 OPS, 21 homers. And the dude just flat out hits. He knows how to rake, and like Josh is talking about, he went from Houston his first year, transferred over to Mississippi State, and went insane in the SEC last year. So I'm going to go with Ace Reese, and I think that's my SEC Player of the Year. And then I'm going to move on to my next pick, which, gosh, this is all tough to go through here. I'm going to go with, I'll go a little bit in a different spot, and I know we've kind of hyped him up here, and I'm going to go in the ACC route here. I'm going to go with Eric Becker as my ACC Player of the Year. Becker, he's a guy that we've talked about a lot, and we've hyped him up a ton. The batted ball data is there. The dude can just flat out hit. If he can show he can play shortstop at a high level this season, make some defensive improvements, Becker's going to be a guy. And I see Drew groaning over there. I knew Drew loves him, but I'm going to have to go with Reese and Eric Becker for me this round.
That was the most obvious Drew pick of all time. We talked about taking each other's picks. You just swooped one right off Drew's board, and everyone knows it.
I had to do it.
I hate what just happened so bad. Like I knew there was no chance. I was going to get rocked. I'm picking third. There's no chance. If Jake decided he wanted to just big balls this pick and go off the beaten path, I knew Josh was going to just instantly hammer Chalowski. I knew there was no chance. But I loved the thought that I could get Becker at like the 4th or 5th round. And JB, you have quashed that. So I am.
There's a real debate between him and Gracia, but I had to go with the heart, the guy that I've really been.
Man,
I've been loving
what a
lately.
pick!
So
what a pick! I love Eric Becker. The exit velocities are there too. He's not just a hitter; he can hit for power. Anyway, okay. All right. At this point, guys, I think I've got to just stick to the plan. I'm gonna quote Keith Nail from Survivor: "Stick to the plan, Drew. Stick to the plan." All right. All right. Here we go. I'm gonna go to the mid-major player. Mid-major bats. I'm going to pop that category for all of us. And I'm going to take Big Daddy outfielder Caden Bogenpole from Missouri State. 6'6", 240, built like a truck. This is a guy that when I look at this pool, there are dudes that I like almost as much as him, and I don't want to spoil any names because I think we're going to be in on at least 2 of them. I think you guys are going to pluck maybe 2 of these guys from my list, maybe the 3rd one or the 4th one, excuse me. But Bogenpole is the one that I think has the most outward appeal. This is a guy that's got a raw of about 70. 90th percentile exit velocity is over 110, max of 114. Guys, he's got some speed. There are some issues here. I do like to attribute him to one of my favorite players in the minor leagues, Spencer Jones. I think that's a really realistic – you get the 10,000-foot view from that. I'll leave it at that. I think if we're looking at mid-major batters, this is maybe the best shot that we have at getting an indisputable pick for that selection. So I like it. I'm going to go with Logan Paul there, and that's going to take us to Josh at 4-3.
I can't make up my mind here. I'm between. I think there's two different guys that I want in my next two picks, and all right, I'm gonna take the guy strategy here. I'm gonna take the guy that I think Jake would be more likely to take of the two next, and I am going to take. I'll be the first guy to take an ACC Pitcher of the Year, and I'm gonna take Aiden Canuck. I don't know if it was on his board or not, but I think he's more likely than my other guy. I feel like I've in a sense led the charge on the Aiden Canuck train, and I'm absolutely fine with having that reputation if it's true. He's going to be the leader of what I consider to be kind of an underwhelming Clemson pitching staff compared to usual, but I could easily be proven wrong there. His counting stats actually regressed a little last year from his freshman year, but he still managed to post a 4.18 ERA with 110 strikeouts to only 29 walks. I've harped on his changeup enough, so I won't do it again. But Canuck is going to be a strike thrower who should get out to the high level in this conference this year. So I expect him to be right in the mix for ACC Pitcher of the Year.
Shout out Will Dodge right there.
Fact. Always shout out Will Dodge. Can we get a Dodge reference on every pod?
I think it might happen whether we like it or not. He gets shouted out quite a bit, doesn't he? I like that pick. Canuck is a good one, and you certainly have led the bandwagon on him. I like it. Jake, that's going to bring us to you for a back-to-back double dip, buddy. 4-4 and 5-1. I'm curious, what are you thinking with your fourth round selection?
So, Josh, you were right about Aiden Canuck being potentially my next pick. But you did make it easier because I was between him and another guy, and I'm going to go ahead and take Ethan Norby from ECU as my mid-major pitcher of the year. He's got All-American upside. He's a strike thrower, fastball up to 95, big sweeping slider, change up with good shape. He's got above average, command and control. And he's the leader of this ECU staff, and I think he's going to put up huge numbers once again for them.
I like that pick. And there's the mid-major pitcher being the first one to 3 selections. Not what I was thinking, but I like what we're doing here.
For the record,
I also thought he was going
my other guy still hasn't gone yet. So I feel like I don't know if JB's going to take him or not, but you've seen this guy in a lot of different places in preseason stuff, like the one in my mind. But we'll see if we get there or not.
Okay. Yeah.
Jake, but before we do, Jake, you're at 5-1. I got to know, what are you thinking here, man?
I'm going to go to the SEC. I'm going to get my SEC Player of the Year. I was between two guys here again, but I'm not going to go with Hakopian. I'm going to go with Justin LeBron from Alabama. He became one of Bama's top hitters as a freshman, and now he's a junior veteran in this lineup, and he's certainly going to lead it again. On the defensive side, he's an elite defender with a plus arm at shortstop. He's got huge upside as a hitter, especially if he can cut back on a little bit of the swing and miss, which is a real concern from a draft prospect aspect of things. But nonetheless, the power is legit, and the production has been there the last 2 years, and it should be there once again. He's a double plus runner in some for some people. And depending on the strikeout concerns, if he can cut down on that just a little bit, he has a chance to be, the most productive and most exciting player in the SEC this year.
I like it. I mean, there's a chance. You sold it. You made it sound so good, Jake. I kind of like that. Josh, to you, man, for your 5th round pick, you've completed your ACC. Josh, I didn't expect that out of you, but you've completed an ACC. Where are you going now?
I'm going to do it. I mean, y'all let him fall into my lap. I'm going to do it. Logan Hughes, Big 12 Player of the Year. I didn't think y'all would let him fall to the 5th round for me, but I'll take it. And, I mean, he's the first guy off the board in that category, too. I know there's other, well-established college guys, but I'm not going to expand on this pick. If you want to hear me yap about Logan Hughes, go listen to literally any other podcast we've recorded this entire offseason.
You may yap just a moment if you'd like.
No. I made my point very clear. This is me promoting our other stuff. Go listen to our other stuff, I go on a Logan Hughes rampage at least once a pod. So Merry Christmas.
Company man Josh Catlett at it again. All right, Drew is up at 5'3". Drew is always a 6'3" guy. Drew is taller than 5'3". That's all right though. All right, I've waited long enough. It's time to hit the stamp. We're going to ACC Player of the Year, and I'm going to take AJ Gracia. I don't really know that I should say much here. Toolsy, strong on base, projection still to come. Scouts love him. I love him. A modern offensive outfielder profile. I draw some question marks on the defense, but I mean, again, the bat is what's going to sell this guy long term. He's athletic, he's patient, he makes impact at the top of the order, and he's my ACC Player of the Year, baby, and I feel real good about it. So that's going to take us to JB at 5'4".
Yeah. So for me, I'm gonna run down to the SEC and take my pitch of the year, and I'm gonna take Gabe Gackle from Arkansas. Me and Josh have really driven a train on Gackle a lot this year to talk about how much we love him. And I saw him at USA. The guy moves really well. The fastball carries, gets on hitters, comes through the zone really well, and the slider is also it's a hard, deep slider that he throws. It's a great pitch for swing and miss. And I think Gackle's really going to move back into the rotation well. So I'm going to say Gackle for my SEC. And then I think I'm going to decide to go at my Big 12 Player of the Year actually here. And another guy I've kind of been high on, at least within our circles. I don't know if I've talked about it a lot on the pod, but Chase Brunson as my Big 12 Player of the Year. Compared him to Wyatt Langford, kind of is a little comparison I've given a few times. I just think the swing's really similar. Good athlete, guy's got a lot of pop in the bat, and I think he's a guy that's really underrated due to Sawyer Strasnider getting a lot of hype ahead of him. But I think Brunson's really a fine player that a lot of teams are going to love in the draft this year.
Definitely, I definitely like that pick as well. I mean, that's a direct hit to my board. I am suffering, so that's fine. I'm going to take a second and try to make my best possible decision.
Who would have thought, by the way, not to interject, that Josh would have the first completed ACC and I'd have the first completed SEC going on, right? Or I'd have a completed SEC as our first conference. So
it's the closest version of us taking each other's picks that I expected. Although, granted, I can say this now in hindsight that like both my ACC guys are gone. I don't have a single Carolina guy in either of my top four for those. So I wasn't going to steal one of those for you. But like at ACC guy, you heard it here first.
There you go.
Wow.
ACC Josh.
Wow, yeah. Josh is turning over a new leaf, and it's a leaf that I like. Okay. I'm stuck here, guys. I'm stuck between a couple, but I'll catch this train before it runs away too quickly, and I will take I think I'm going to take okay. I'm going to go to the Big 12 as well. And I'll take Brady Bollinger, first baseman out of Kansas. Let me choose my words carefully. He's very good. He is a great hitter with all kinds of power. I think that in general people are underrating him, but I think that we might be getting ahead of our skis in certain circles. Big power, huge exit velocity, strong plate discipline. This is safely a Big 12 player that I really like, just as much as the other Big 12 player that I think I might have gift wrapped for Jake at this point, and I think we all know where I'm getting at here. But I'm just as excited about Ballinger's long-term outlook as I am for that gentleman. But that's where I'm going to go at 6'2", and that's going to bring us to Josh at pick 6'3".
I'm in a really difficult spot for draft strategy here because I think all of my top guys that are left to go on my boards, I really don't know if they're going to be taken soon. But I'm going to take a guy that I want to make sure is on my board. I don't know if I've been super vocal on the pod about it enough, but within draft circles, I have been leading the Cole Carlone charge in a lot of places, I feel like. So I'm going to take him as my Big 12 pitcher of the year. I'm super high on him and praying his stuff translates to a starter role. He led all of D1 in whiff rate last year, which is a stat I keep trying to tell people because it's, how do I put this? It's the most effective way to get across to people that, hey, this guy is really legit. I mean, the pitches in his arsenal just play super well off each other, especially the cutter he uses as a bridge between his breaking balls. I mean, a 3.33 ERA with 86 strikeouts in 52 innings. I'll happily bank on that working for another year.
The whiff rate stat is one you need to. I'm going to challenge you to reference that in the next 3 pods as well. It
Fine
needs
by
to
me.
be spread.
41% whiff rate as like the main reliever on a good team. Like that's across. It needs to be stated. Like I don't know how well it's going to translate to a starter role. I think he projects well as a starter personally. Others don't. It's whatever. I'm going to hope it at least maintains a little bit. I mean, you can't maintain 41%, but like high 20s, low 30s, that's beyond good enough in the Big 12.
Put this on a poster board. I think it'll work as a starter. Others don't. It's whatever. Facts. Hard facts. Don't argue with a brick wall. Jake, that's going to bring us to you for the last pick in round 6. What are you thinking here, man? Because you've got 2 conferences untouched as of now. But I guess in a lot of regards, you kind of got your pick of those conferences too. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm gonna start working on the ACC here. I'm gonna go with my ACC pitcher of the year. I'm gonna take Ryan Marone, left-handed pitcher, NC State. He's made some mechanical improvements coming off of last year. He's been a 2-year starter at NC State and probably going to be the Friday guy again for them this year. He's a very safe pitching prospect. It's a low 90s fastball up to 94, big sweeping slider, 12-6 curveball, and a solid changeup that gets a lot of chase and whiff. Like I said, he's got experience pitching for NC State. He's probably one of the more experienced pitchers in the ACC this year, especially as a starter. And the sky's the limit for in the ACC for Marone this year. I think he's going to have a big year.
I like that pick a lot. That's a good one. You've got another one to make here at 7, round 7, your first pick of the round. What are you thinking there?
I'm gonna go to the Big 12. I'm gonna finish off my pitchers, and it might be a guy that probably wasn't on any of your guys' board. I was kind of wanting to wait for this one, but I want to go ahead and get it out of the way because I'm excited to talk about him. It's Coulter McAnally, right-handed pitcher from Utah.
Wow.
He's the ace of this Utah staff, and he's due for a breakout, and I think he's due for some attention. He's got a really athletic delivery. It's a low 90s fastball up to about 94. Not really going to blow you away with that. He's got 3 legit secondary, slider, curveball, changeup. I like him. It's a really interesting delivery. It's super deceptive. He kind of throws kind of from his ear a little bit. It's just he hides the ball really well. You look at his numbers. He's in the last 2 years for Utah. He's pitched 143 innings for them. He's made 24 starts. Last year he pitched to a 3.79 ERA. Had 92 strikeouts in 92 innings. Holds batters to an average of below 240. I just think he's a dark horse contender for this award, and if he can, he's going to be the leader for Utah again, and I think he's again a big sleeper. I think he's going to have a big year.
I think all of us probably had in our heads, and I don't want to speak for you, JB or Josh. I knew Jake was going to take some deep swings, but we are literally jousting with the guy that's doing the deepest college baseball coverage in the country right now. So the fact that he just pulled Coulter McAnally in the 7th round, this is where you know you're boxing with an elite. That's all I'm going to say. Josh, we're going to go to you for 7, pick 2, and what do you have in mind?
For the record, this I can officially say now. This means that Smith Bailey goes undrafted, which I did not see coming. But I digress.
Yeah, he was who I was between. He was who I was between.
Really? Okay, that makes sense, I guess. I'm in a spot now because I feel like this is difficult. All right, I'm gonna go with a name that I'm gonna assume was on most of y'all's boards, but I don't really know. I'm going to take my first Big Ten guy. I'm going to go Big Ten Player of the Year. And I'm going to take a guy that JB will be seeing in person here in about 3 weeks. I'm going to take Jake Hanley from Indiana. For the record, just putting it on record, I don't really see a world where Rock or Maloney don't win Big Ten Player of the Year. But if they get like injured or something, then I'll take my chances here. A little spoiler alert for when I post all my preseason teams on Twitter. I actually have Hanley as the Big Ten first baseman over a guy that I'm going to assume is going to be drafted later. We'll see. Because I think there's a chance that other guy just gets buried in a stacked lineup. Hanley's just a big-bodied guy with good pop and a solid approach at the plate, so I'd imagine that'll translate to the counting stats for the second year in a row. I mean, Hanley had a OPS over 1,000 with 14 home runs his freshman year, and he's clearly the star of that team. So if the ball rolls Indiana's way this year and they have a better season than expected, to think Hanley gets all conference honors like this isn't that crazy.
Like that pick, bold, and I like that you said it's going to take an injury.
It might. Look, let's just be so real here. How does it not? How does it not?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right.
I did have him on my board. Fun fact, Josh, by the way, because I did my Indiana homework, and he was on my board actually to be taken if I didn't get my first 3, which my third guy actually hasn't been taken. Fun fact.
Is he a first baseman? Is he the guy I'm referencing?
No, not
really.
Same team though. Okay. Same team though.
Okay. I think I know where you're going.
I think JB and I are talking about the same guy, maybe. Okay.
Take him, Drew. Take him. Do it.
No, not yet. I'm going to go a different route. 7-3. I'm going to play in the SEC pitching pool. Very deep. I would say, honestly, I think that's the deepest pool of all, at least for me, because I kept it to 4. I took my top 4. That way I would get one of those no matter what on my board. But I'm going to go to pitchers, and ironically enough, this is my second best SEC pitcher. No disrespect to Gabe Gackle, no disrespect to some other guys. I want Dylan Volantis, left-handed pitcher from Texas, and I want him bad. I think this might be my favorite college baseball player in the country, if I'm being totally honest with you guys. I don't talk about Volantis enough. It's a dominant left-handed arm with all kinds of leverage. He misses bats. He's shown up in postseason and tournament play. Left-handed impact arms like Volantis, with the stuff that he has, with the projectability that he has, they don't last in anything. They don't last in recruiting. They don't last in drafts, and they're not going to last any longer in this draft. He's been trusted in big moments by the Longhorns. The traits back it all up. I want Volantis, and I feel real good about that pick, guys. JB, that'll go to you for round 7, pick 4, rounding out the 7th round.
Yeah, I must say I didn't necessarily see that one coming, but I don't hate that pick, I will say. I'm going to go with the ACC Pitch of the Year, and shockingly to Josh, he said that I would go a Carolina guy, but I am not actually.
Oh.
I know, it's a big shocker that I'm not.
Are you staying in the state?
I'm staying in the state. It's going to be Blake Morningstar from Wake Forest. Morningstar, when we played him last year, it's just everything is off the charts plus. I mean, all the stuff he's got, it's there. I think he can compete with anybody on any given day. It's just kind of what's he got going on behind him, the offense. Also, the command can be kind of spotty at times, but he really strained it out towards the end of the year. So for me, I'm going to go Blake Morningstar as my ACC Pitcher of the Year. Now that takes me into kind of an interesting gray area. I'm going to probably take my Big Ten Pitcher of the Year, and I'm going to take a swing here. I don't know if anybody else had him, but I've seen some reports and some different stuff, and he's kind of been trending up, and he's at an interesting school. So I'm going to go Tate Carey of Michigan. Tate Carey, he's kind of ticked up with the velocity. He's done a good job at Michigan leading the rotation. He'll probably do it again this year. He's been one of the bigger arms there, and he's been a guy that metrically, necessarily with the fastball at least, hasn't been crazy, but he gets a high ground ball rate, and the off-speed stuff has been really, really good. So Tate Carey for me will round out the Big Ten.
JB, was it your plan to save mid-majors for your final 2 picks, or did it just work out that way?
It honestly just worked out like that. You guys took. I was going to go earlier, but then Jake, I believe, took Norby. So that I thought he was going to pivot to a ACC guy, another one, when he said pivot, because I know he loves a certain ACC guy that I won't name. So I thought that's where he was going with it, and then Norby was going to be my next one. But I am left with my pick now since all you guys took him. So thank you very much. I can wait it out to my last selection for my mid-major pitcher and go with the rest of my board.
Interesting. Okay, well, all right. This puts me in a weird position because I knew I was going to take an ACC pitcher right here, kind of regardless. Never did I expect to have my pick of my two favorites on my board, though. All right. Well, we're going to do it regardless, and I feel weird talking about him to the guy that wrote the report, the guy that's told me so much. But give me Jason DeCaro as my ACC pitcher of the year. I feel really good about it. And JB, I'll plug your fabulous work. Your scouting report says it all. This is a guy who was freshman All-American. He's been a weekend starter. A really grossly shaped fastball with a ton of chase. He gets it for strikes all the time. Lots of vertical break, lots of break in general. It's a really wicked pitch. Couple of good breaking balls. I really think that DeCaro is in a position to establish himself among a very talented conference of arms and elevate himself to an even higher draft stock. We have him at 21 of college players, which I think is safely a top 50 dude probably in the class. Really like this pick. Really pleased with DeCaro as my ACC pitcher of the year.
I love it, Drew. I'll say I was torn. I wanted to do it, but just to get the bias out of it, because I talk about him every episode, I got to take someone else that I liked too. So
none of us have taken any players. None of us have taken any players from our teams this draft so far. So you know what? I'm actually proud of it. And I haven't, because Carolina's my secondary team. I haven't taken a Carolina guy. We're all doing really well here.
Henry Ford, SEC Player of the Year, is still on the table. It's all I'm going to say. Anyway, that's going to take us to Josh at 8-3. We're going to put the suspense. We're going to elevate the suspense even more for will Drew pick Henry Ford as SEC Player of the Year. Josh, 8th round, third pick of the round. What are you thinking, buddy?
I think I'm at the point where all three of the guys that I'm going to take left, they're mine. It's just a matter of I have to figure out how I want to order them. But I'm taking shots in the last two rounds, so I'm going to do this now. Y'all, the SEC Pitcher of the Year is full besides for me. For the record, y'all have taken number 2, 3, and 4 on my board, but not number 1. I am going to take maybe an unexpected pick because it's not one of those top juniors. I am going to take Kason Evans from LSU. He had a ridiculous freshman campaign that resulted in a 2.05 ERA and 71 Ks and 52 innings. And that was good enough to land him a spot as an All-American at D1 baseball. And I think the NCBWA, he's got a fastball with good ride that sits mid-90s from the right side. It's touch 99. So that's just going to rip through lineups and pair with that slider and changeup that produced so much swing and miss last year. So I expect him to be lights out again and get the publicity he deserves this time around since he's projected to be LSU's Friday night guy to start the year.
I like that. I love Kason Evans. He was on my board as well. Really an inspired pick on your part. Just a little pissed there, but that's fine. That means you're doing a good job. Jake, that is going to bring us to you for a back-to-back set of picks, rounding out the 8th round and kicking off the 9th round. Just for you guys at home who are maybe listening, Jake has got left three offensive guys: his ACC Player of the Year, Big 12 Player of the Year, and Mid-Major Player of the Year. I'm curious where you're going to go here, Jake.
I am going to go ACC. I'm going to finish that out. Louisville has some. There's some options in Louisville's lineup. There's Lucas Moore. You could go with Teg Davis, but my favorite is Zion Rose, outfielder for Louisville. He's a middle of the order bat for them. High level bat to ball, big time raw power. Super good athlete, really good feel for the barrel. He's really a 5-tool player. He's going to have lots of opportunities to produce, and like I already mentioned, the very stout Louisville lineup. He's got a lot of tools to break out with to be the player of the year in this conference, and he's gonna be a big producer for them.
Not
and
to
I'll
cut
just
him
go
off
right
there
into my
either,
next
but
pick.
that train that just came by
That's
for
the hype,
Josh
yeah.
is just like the Louisville train that they got right behind their stadium rolling through there in the middle of the game. So that's just really fitting right there. That
I really
happened.
hope
But
it's quieted
keep going,
down by
Jake.
now.
Keep going. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just had to put that out there. It's just perfect timing. That happened.
No, it's all good. So we're leading off the ninth round now, I believe, and the fact that this player is still available in the ninth round is just crazy to me. I'm going Sawyer Strohsnyder, outfielder, TCU, is my Big 12 player of the year. Again, shocked I got him this late, but he's the leader of this uber talented TCU outfield. Super productive last year, insane raw tools. There is some swing and miss from a draft standpoint. Is there? He's aggressive and chases some, but he's got the ability to hit mistake pitches very hard. And he's also a plus athlete in the outfield. From a prospect standpoint, he's a high risk player, but a super fun one. And he could absolutely produce enough this year to take on the Big 12 Player of the Year award.
I like that a lot. Yeah, earlier we know that Josh kind of kicked off that run with Hughes, JB a couple picks later with Brunson, and me right afterwards with Ballinger. Strohsnyder is a guy that I'd really contemplated taking there. Maybe I should have. I guess we'll let the goons on Twitter on the old interwebs decide whether that was a flop on Unk's part. But Jake, good round of picks there for you. You got one left. You're going to round us out at the very end. Josh, round 9, pick 2. What are you thinking? The hype train is come and gone, but what's it left for you?
I'm hoping the hot train comes through for this guy this year because my last 2 picks I'm taking a shot on. This next one, just in terms of what he did last year, is not great, but it's just like full projection. I'm going to go down to Troy, and I'm going to take Jimmy Janicki, the catcher down there this year. He is a bat-to-ball demon that I'm expecting to light up Sunbelt pitching this year. Now, he only posted a 280 batting average last year with a 737 OPS, so I know I'm taking a big risk here on the projection. But he's got all the intangibles I love in a guy. It's a plus hit tool with potential for plus raw power somewhere down the line. And he's quick on the base paths, got a really good arm, and he's moving behind the plate from third this year. So he'll be able to display his skills back there now too. So I'm really looking forward to him turning into a young star on a veteran team like this. And I think they play like 6 SEC teams in midweeks or something like that. So I'm going to have to get down there for 1 or 2 since they're only like an hour away from here.
Josh, you'll be very proud to know that Jimmy Janicki was my 5th ranked guy, mid-major player. I did cut him for one guy above him, but I really thought Janicki would be my guy if I didn't. We'll get into strategy at another time. But big love for that pick. I love that pick. And well, since I'm talking, I'll keep talking. I'll go ahead to Big 10. We're gonna play the suspense up for who Drew takes for SEC Player of the Year. Get your comments in below. but I'm gonna go to the Big 10 Player of the Year, and hear me out here, guys. I think taking a UCLA guy makes a lot of sense. They've got a really loaded a really loaded team with 2 guys. I think in particular that we could probably weigh out. Could be this, I guess. Again, like Josh said a minute ago with Hanley, Jake Hanley. I think there's logic there, but that feels boring. I don't want to take a boring guy. I want to take a shot. So I'm going to give a wink and a nod and a nudge to my buddy Jake, and I'm going to take the Big 10 Player of the Year, Ryan Kucherak, shortstop from Northwestern. I'm going to take a deep shot. He's a Big 10 guy who just kind of does everything right. He's steady. Field to hit from where I'm sitting, controls the zone, impacts the game kind of across the board, and even in the ways that you don't see. I think he's trusted already at this point. Consistent, athletic. This is a guy that plays the game the right way. I could see him being a very productive big leaguer one day. When you're looking for reliability and polish, especially in a conference that I think can be lacking in that sometimes. I like Kucherov in that instance a lot. I'm proud to have him as my Big Ten Player of the Year.
Yeah.
And JB, that's going to go to you for your final elbow, both of your picks.
Yeah, so I got double mid-major. I don't got to shout him out. Roman Martin was my other Big Ten guy that I had in there. He's a stud. I mean, I think that dude, I think he's got a real shot to overtake it with Rock. Obviously not in the draft, but the Big Ten Player of the Year, he could put up some monster numbers, I think. But I'll digress off of that, and I'm going to go with a couple of interesting picks possibly for everybody here. Mid-major arm. I'm going to go down to the Ivy and take my man Jack Oman.
That's him. That's
Yale.
the one.
Jack Oman from Yale. He had a 1.1 ERA a year ago, which is absurd. Runs the fastball up to the upper 90s, plus off-speed pitches. The dude should be an SEC arm, but for some reason he's playing at Yale because he loves an education. So respect to that. But he's a big-time arm down there, and he's going to run through the Ivy League once again. So that's our first one, and now the second one is my mid-major Player of the Year. I don't know how Josh, Mr. Bat to Ball down there, did not have this guy in there. So I'm going to throw it out there. Mr. Braden Burris from ECU. He had a whopping 488 on base percentage last year. Repeat that again, 488. Almost 50% of the time this dude was on base last year. Also stole 18 bags, top of the order guy for ECU. He only struck out 26 times in 257 plate appearances last season. Dude is incredible bat to ball skills, insane on base percentage. He's undersized, but the bat to ball is incredible. And Braden Burris, I think, has a chance to be the best mid-major bat in the country. So I feel good about where I went with my last two picks there.
Yeah, you kind of brought it all together. Oman was certainly on my board. I liked that pick a lot. Braden Burris, that was a deep shot. I love that. Good call.
No, he was number 4 on my board. We
was
still
he?
haven't. Yeah,
me and Josh, they were seeing eye to eye. I'm surprised we didn't steal more.
So, of all the mid-major bats that are available, my 1, 3, and 4 have gone off the board. I don't know where Jake's going to go last, but I think there's a good shot he takes my number 2. Which, if we take all 4 of my guys on my board, I will be shocked because that's wildly impressive with how wide that field is.
So I will say this, just in the topic of mid-major hitters, at least, my 2, 3, and 4 are all still available.
I'd imagine my guy's one of those.
It's got to be, but we'll do some also rans here in a second. Maybe throw out some names that didn't get picked that we just want to shout out. Okay, the time has come. The hype has come and gone. I'm going to tell you who I'm not picking. I'm not going to take Henry Ford. This is what we call growth in the industry, guys. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll tell you who else I'm not going to take. I'm not going to take Chris Akopian. And I'm not going to take Chris Akopian because this is not because I think that this player that I'm going to take is better than him. It's because I'm not going to talk about Chris Akopian on a podcast with Josh Catlett. I'm not stupid. I just
like where this is going, Drew. I like the start to this conversation.
Let the chef keep cooking here. Let the chef keep cooking. I thought about how could we really spice this board? What if I went to Florida and took some Brendan Lawson? And then I thought, I think there's a better infielder in that class, maybe in Texas. Maybe I could take a little bit of A-Rod. I did see some amazing video of him working with a certain coach, Troy Tulowitzki, today. It made me really excited for this young man's future. But no, I think there's still one bat that I've got to take. We're going to go to the University of Kentucky for Tyler Bell. Really super intriguing bat. He's physical. Feel that JB's going insane.
Yes, look, I win. I beat Josh Catlett and driving the hype train on somebody. I win.
Listen. Yes. I've been on the Bell hype train for a long time, but I think I've succeeded the conductor role to you for sure. Here's the short version of what I'm going to say is the Rays liked this guy enough to pick him 2 years ago. What we see now is a more mature, more polished, stronger, faster version of the player they wanted in the second round of the draft. Strength in the swing, projects for damage. Kentucky has leaned on him to support their team in a difficult league. When you factor in the competition that Tyler Bell faces every weekend, the offensive profile still plays. There's room for more to come.
I hate that grin on his face.
I
hate it.
love
Oh my
I
gosh,
love
it's so
Hakopian's hit
amazing.
tool. I love Hakopian's hit tool. I think I might talk so much about Adrian Rodriguez that you guys want to evict me from the island. I will get voted off the island week 1
No, that's
next
so valid.
season. But I think Tyler Bell's getting underrated in this class of middle infielders, and I'm thrilled to get him with my final pick. I'm delighted, in fact. So that is going to take us to you, Josh, and you have to finish the Big Ten pitching pool. Let me ask. So I asked JB a minute ago about was it his intention to save mid majors for last? Josh, did you save the thinnest position for last? You're like, I'll just make it work, or is this just kind of happenstantial?
What's funny about this is that if I had the opportunity to get Logan Redeman in my second round pick, I was going to do it. That was my game plan going into it. That's why I was upset when he was taken. But once that happened, I looked at the rest of my board and I'm like, it's all just a crapshoot from this point. Like, I really don't know. And so, first of all, before I say this, shout out my guy, Chris Rimbert. He wasn't even mentioned in that rant. That's why I was pointing at myself. I thought you were going to have another Chris mentioned, but
I'm sorry. Chris Rimbert should have been mentioned as well. He's elite and needs
more.
work.
To show you how deep that category is, because I did not have Bell, Lawson, or A-Rod on my board, and those are all great names, but it just, not in the top 4.
Damn it.
I'm going to take this might be the biggest shot taken in this draft. I'm taking someone that I'm pretty sure JB is high on compared to, consensus.
Wow.
You'll know what I'm saying when I make my pick. If we're going in terms of sheer college production, odds this just fans out is really high, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to go up to Nebraska. I'm going to take Carson Yasa. And I'm going to hope for the best. This category is so thin at the top that you just got to take shots and hope for the best. Yasa, he might not even be that bad of a pick if he can just reel in the control issues, but I know that's a big ask because he had a 19% walk rate last year and a 20% walk rate on the Cape this summer. So, I mean, the stuff's there. He's got a fastball that sits 95, 97. He's got great feel for spin, great velo separation on his off-speed pitches. The dude can just barely throw a strike to save his life, to this point at least. So I'm taking a chance on him just locking in and fixing the control issues, and maybe it'll be enough to fool Big Ten batters. I think he's going to be the Sunday guy there, actually, and I know they've got some tough spots early on. Like, they come to Auburn here on the 3rd weekend. I think they've got FSU right before that, so we'll find out a lot quickly, I guess. This is a shot in the dark, but I don't know. You got to in this category. Like, you have no other choice. It's rough.
I like that. I
thought you would. Like, you like that. You like him as a whole, but in terms of just what he's done at Nebraska so far, like,
yeah, it's tough.
Man,
it's tough.
I'm not working with much. Like, let's be real.
It's tough, yeah.
Jake, did you have Carson Yasa on your board for Big Ten pitchers?
I did. I was considering him if I didn't go with Barnett earlier, but he was on my board. Yeah.
Fair enough.
JB, was Yasa on your board?
He was not. I liked him. I had him like as a possible, but I had Cervantes ahead of him. Honestly,
okay.
but I had Angel Cervantes ahead. But
That's
I
fair.
do like Yasa.
I had another UCLA guy on my board that hasn't even been mentioned in this conversation yet. I had Wyland Moss on my board.
Wyland Moss.
Yeah.
You'll be proud, Josh. I had Yasa as my number 2. Moss was in my also rans as well. I like that call. All right, hey, love it. Yasa's going to be tested. Speaking of tests, you guys have been being tested all offseason long with the content of this gentleman, Jake Bargery. He has been covering the mid-majors at the likes of nobody in the country, bar none, hands down, argue with the brick wall. This guy is the elite of the elite covering the mid-majors. And Jake, you have got your pick of the litter here, buddy, with the exception of 3 exceptional hitters. The rest of the world is your oyster, and I'm curious who you're going to take with the final pick of the draft.
I have researched a lot of big mid-major hitters and have seen a lot of them, but I'd be remiss to not take a Northeast player anywhere in this draft. Similar to McAnally earlier, hopefully I can introduce you guys to a new player here. I want to go with Reese Maroney, shortstop from Rhode Island. just some of his numbers from last year. He hit for a 356 average, 463 on base, 462 slugging. He's not giving you too much in the power department. But he's an elite contact hitter, simple swing mechanics. He just makes it look super easy in the box. Like I said, he's not going to give you much in terms of power, but he plays solid shortstop defense. He's a plus runner. And we just saw Aiden Robbins lead the country in batting average at Seton Hall last year. And I think, Maroney could hit at that same level for Rhode Island this year. He's a sneaky guy to watch up here in the Northeast.
I love it. Loved reading about Maroney. When you were talking about Rhode Island, I agree with you. I think he's a sneaky pick for sure. All right, guys, let's talk about some also rans really, really quickly. I'll run through some names really quickly just because I know that they're, we've had some guys not be taken that I can throw out there super quickly. Trey Beard, ACC Pitcher of the Year. Ryan Lynch. Didn't get to talk about Janai Sato from Penn State. I think in Big Ten that might have been a name that some might have expected we'd have popped. Mulavai Lavu, Will Gasparino, a couple of UCLA guys that didn't get brought up. Mason Brassfield, lefty from TCU, I thought maybe was an interesting call. Didn't get to talk about Ben Blair from Liberty with the mid-major pitchers, but I really like the mid-major pitching crop we have here. Definitely some good ones. Mid-major players, Tyler Minnick from UConn, JP Peltier from Wright State, Anthony Potestio from UC San Diego, a couple of guys there. And then, of course, we talked about all the SEC cats that were unselected. JB, any guys that were not picks that you had kind of on your board as a hey, I considered this dude?
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't mention him. Volchko at Georgia, I thought was one that somebody's going to talk about with him working it there. Jack Bauer, and I thought's another one that it's just interesting. Someone did it. I also had for pitcher of the year in the Big 12, I picked up Garrison Sumner from BYU. He's a guy that's ran the fastball up pretty high. As a dart throw. Mid-major guys, I had Cam Kim going to Fullerton. And an interesting freshman of the year type of player, Josh Gibbs, going to Kennesaw State, top draft prospect who transferred his commitment over to there. I also had a guy who I wrote a report on for mid-major pitcher of the year, Hayden Johnson, big lefty at Coastal Carolina. He's a guy that right behind Fluke, he's going to get lost in the shuffle, but a guy that's got a lot of draft helium right now is a guy that can really pitch. So that's who I'd go with.
Yeah. Jake, any names that didn't get mentioned that you feel like shouting out here?
Yeah, I'll shout out a few more mid-major guys since that's pretty much the only thing I've been doing for this last month. Marshall Lipsy from outfielder FAU was a guy I had on my board. He was just behind Maroney. And Josh Skoronsky from Winthrop, outfielder. He's a big, strong hitter there. I was really considering him for my mid-major player. Couple pitchers. Ben Blair from Liberty was a guy I really considered. Steele Murdoch was another arm that I had kind of just outside of my top four. But those are probably the top guys that I had it narrowed down to that we hadn't talked about yet.
Nice. Josh, any also rans that you want to throw out there?
Yeah, so I just went and counted, and 11 guys that were on my board of 40 were not taken. I think we've talked about 5 of them, or 5 of them have been mentioned. The ones that weren't. Oh, also for the record, Tyler Minnick was the mid-major player guy that I'm shocked when undrafted. I think that's like the most shocking undrafted pick to me. Already talked about Smith Bailey, Alex Conover on Oklahoma State. I've been talking about him for a while. Wyland Moss I mentioned. Mason Edwards was my last Big Ten pitcher. I know we've the 4 of us have talked about him recently as being maybe that last Big Ten pitcher that you can throw into a preseason all-conference team or whatever because it's so thin. Jack Radell from Notre Dame. Wes Mendez, the other Florida State pitcher that could have been taken. I already mentioned Rembert Hakopian, obviously. The one guy that I think you see him on a lot of first-team preseason All-American teams. The draft community is not going to be upset that we didn't take him, but college baseball fans might. Miles Bailey at Florida State not being mentioned at all is something. I mean, would anybody be fully 100% shocked if he hit 30 home runs this year? I would not. I don't think it's crazy at all. So, I mean, you can say what you want about him long-term. I don't really love it long-term, but for the 2026 college baseball season, yeah, like that guy's gonna rake. That guy, I mean, the swing and miss is what it is. But when he puts the bat on the ball, see ya. It's as simple as that.
On the topic of ACC players of the year that weren't taken, weren't selected, weren't talked about, Von Lackey went really under discussed in this conversation.
So Advincula wasn't taken.
No.
Hernandez wasn't taken. At Carolina, Gallagher wasn't taken. Like they're just
was not taken.
Yeah, well, that's no shock. I mean, with this group of 4, let's be real.
It's not a shock with us, but again, talking about the draft community as a whole.
I get that, but like, yeah, that one doesn't shock me. I'm surprised we had. I didn't even think about Lackey. Like that's a shocking one to not even go mentioned. But I mean, the group that we have is fine. It's just it's such slim pickings.
And then just hyper quick, a couple more guys that weren't talked about. I mean, Lucas Moore out of the ACC. I think somebody might have brought his name up. Big 12 players of the year: Andrew Williamson, UCF; Trey Broussard, Houston. I mean, what it could have been a consideration here for sure. Big 12 guys: Chase Meyer out of West Virginia. I think we could have heard an argument for Chase Meyer. Nathan Taylor out of Cincinnati, I think, has got some interesting traits there that he could have been a guy I would have leaned on maybe in those last couple of rounds. Then, of course, we didn't talk about Jonathan Mendez as a mid-major guy. Cole Treba didn't talk about as a mid-major pitcher. Lots of talent, but these are the ones we have selected. We've got our teams. Really quickly, Jake, if you want to read through your team top to bottom, we'll do that before we wrap
up. My team, ACC player, Zion Rose, ACC pitcher, Ryan Marone, Big 10 player, Rock Chalowski, pitcher, Michael Barnett, Big 12 player, Sawyer Strohsnyder, pitcher, Coulter McAnally, SEC player, Justin LeBron, pitcher, Liam Peterson, mid-major player, Reese Maroney, pitcher, Ethan Norby.
Pretty good. Josh, read us through your team, buddy. Or I guess your selections. This isn't a team. Lord, it would kill people, but selections.
Yeah, no, I mean, I got 8 of the guys on my board that were number 1 on my list for that category, so I'm cool with this. I got Drew Burris, ACC Player of the Year; Aiden Kanak, ACC Pitcher of the Year; Jake Hanley, Big 10 Player of the Year; Carson Yasa, Big 10 Pitcher of the Year; Logan Hughes, Big 12 Player of the Year; Cole Carlone, Big 12 Pitcher of the Year; Derek Curiel, SEC Player of the Year; Kason Evans, SEC Pitcher of the Year; Jimmy Janicki, mid-major player; and Cam Flukie, mid-major pitcher. Also, so I just thought about this. 2 more names that I just thought about that no one mentioned. Big 12 players of the year: Landon Hairston, Arizona State; Jack Natilli, Cincy. Neither of them got mentioned. There's just so much talent. Like, it's hard to
not even a mention. We didn't even talk about Natilli, but yeah, 100%. You're right. JB, we'll go to you for your selections, sir.
Yeah, ACC player, I went Eric Becker; pitcher, Blake Morningstar; Big 10 player, Maddox Maloney; pitcher, Tate Carey; Big 12 player, Chase Brunson; pitcher, Owen Kremkowski; Big SEC player, Ace Reese; pitcher, Gabe Geckel; mid-major player, Braden Burris; pitcher, Jack Owen.
Love it. I appreciate that you called it the Big SEC. I'm certainly in agreement with you there. And then looking at the Drew Awards players, in the ACC Player of the Year, AJ Gracia; Pitcher of the Year, Jason DeCaro; Big 10 Player of the Year, Ryan Kucherak; Pitcher of the Year, Logan Redeman; Big 12 Player of the Year, Brady Ballinger; Pitcher of the Year, Tommy Lepore; SEC Player of the Year, Tyler Bell; Pitcher of the Year, Dylan Volantis; Mid-Major Player of the Year, Caden Bogenpole; and Mid-Major Pitcher of the Year, Jackson Flora. What a draft. What an episode. Guys, we have doubled. We've gone long here, but I think the folks at home will appreciate it. 40 names we've discussed, plus the teams at the beginning, plus the also-rans we talked about. But this is not all we're doing. You guys are staying very busy. And, Jake, I'd love it if you tell the fine folks at home what you're working on and where they can find you between episodes of College Baseball Now.
You can follow me on Twitter at Jake Barge, and the big project right now is the conference previews. We're pretty deep into them right now. I've got about I think 16 or 17 of them out right now. Finally starting to get into some power conferences. Big 10 should be the next one coming up. Super excited about that. But yeah, go give those a read if you haven't done it yet.
I don't know what we're going to do with ourselves, Jake. Writing about the Big 10, me reading and editing the Big 10. We're moving on up in the world, buddy. Josh, what are you working on right now? Where can people find you in between episodes?
You can follow me on X at JoshCatlett3. By the time we record the next pod, I will have already started releasing my preseason All-American, All-Conference teams, that kind of stuff. So be on the lookout for that. I'm still not fully set on them because, as we talked about in this episode a lot, so many dudes, so many things. You gotta I've got to switch up last minute. Even my preseason rankings, I can't even there's just so many things here and there that are just preseason is so hard to tell, but they'll be out at some point. I'll be doing that along with probably some other Twitter content throughout the year. So stay tuned.
It's going to be great. Can't wait to see it. JB, what are you working on? Where can people find you?
Yes, we just finished up our prospect risers, stock rising middle infielders. Put that out the other day. We'll have our finishing one on the corner infielders.
Second
coming
Dodge
out
mission.
soon.
Let's go.
We'll Dodge number 2 on the day. He's a beast. But outside of that, you can follow me, JB_Sebastiano on Twitter. Gonna have a whole bunch of stuff about draft prospects and all that type of deal coming out. Already got some rankings that have been posted. Hopefully gonna be some more and kind of a deep dive analysis. Hopefully some player videos coming soon for everybody to hear about some of our opinions from all of us probably. But yeah, that's what we got.
It's going to be fun. Lots of stuff happening. Right now, we're working at the site on our top 100 prep players for the 2026 MLB draft. That's going to be a really exciting project that I'm looking forward to really sinking my teeth into. Of course, you guys know this very well, but we're close to 20 days away from the NCAA baseball season. God bless us, everyone. What a world we live in. If you're interested in following me between our episodes, you may do so on the Twitter machine, on Instagram, on Blue Sky, at Drew is okay. We want to encourage you to look at Prospects Live memberships for as low as $7 a month. You can get all kinds of the written content that you're hearing about from these gentlemen, our lists, our tools for your dynasty team, for following your favorite prospects as professionals, for following your favorite college baseball and prep players, for your card hobby, buying, purchasing, all kinds of things for your baseball fandom. You can get it at prospectslive.com. Want to encourage all of you as well, like, rate, review, and comment on this episode, whether you're listening on Spotify, on Apple, or, of course, watching on YouTube. We appreciate you being with us. Guys, thank you so much for your effort, for your enthusiasm, and for not killing me with the snipes too much. For all of you at home, be sure to let us know whose team you like the best. It starts with D, then an R, then an E, then a W for the comments, just to make sure you know how to spell it right. But until next time, next episode, we'll catch you later from College Baseball Now.